Can I just say something about Andrea?
We are back for part 4 of the Robert Devine decertification hearing. We haven't seen anything in the way of witnesses since part 2, when we paused halfway through the cross-examination of the IA investigator, Brian Holmes. Part 3, we got interrupted by the fact that the interviews that Officer Holmes relied on when he was doing his IA investigation had not apparently been turned over either to Post or to Mr. Devine himself to assist him with preparing his case. So there was a little bit of a conferencing about how that was going to be corrected and the possible implications of that. So we are coming back now, presumably to continue with the testimony. So far, we've gotten the basic outline of what the Post Commission is alleging. They contend that Mr. Devine engaged in repeated acts of misconduct, unbecoming as a police officer, as well as acts of dishonesty. He was found responsible for these types of violations from an IA investigation back in 2015, 2016. And then there was a second IA investigation beginning in 2021 that centered around his relationship with Sandra BIRCHMORE. He is not contesting the first incident of discipline, but he is contesting the second investigation, the Sandra BIRCHMORE involved one. So we're going to go ahead and turn back now, get ready to continue, and see where we're at with this cross. I got to tell you, my stomach is dropping a little bit at the notion of having to start in cross, because I don't like this lawyer at all. Really don't. Very, very unlikable person. But at the same time now, Mr. Holmes hasn't really helped himself out. He's opened himself up to some cross-examination about how he conducted his investigation, the thoroughness. He has insisted that he provided these interview transcripts to the Post Commission, but their attorney is swearing up and down he doesn't have it, and they're going back to the Stoughton Police Department to get copies for everybody. So, can't really give him a lot of props for running everything clean and proper, and not giving Officer Devine any ammunition to be able to work with. So with that, guys, let's turn back to it and see what we got. Do we not have sound? Not sure.
Our party's good to begin? Or
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so let me just start the recording. Perfect. Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, July 15th, 2025. The time is 10:09 a.m. This proceeding is hereby called to order. This is the third day of the UK proceedings before the Massachusetts Peace Officer Standards and Training Commission in the matter of Robert Devine. The hearing is closed to the public pursuant to an order issued by the hearing officer on May 30th, 2025. We are convening in person, and only necessary commission staff are permitted to observe the hearing. This hearing is being audio and video recorded, and the parties should speak directly into the microphone to ensure that the audio in the recording is clear. The commission is represented by attorney Sean Martinez, and the respondent is represented by attorney Robert Stowe. My name is Elizabeth Smith, and I'm the hearings administrator for the commission. The Honorable Kenneth J. Fishman will serve as the hearing officer over these proceedings. And before we begin, I would like to remind the parties to use initials when referring to any alleged victims or minors, and to use a page's specific dates number when referring to any exhibit. And this matters now before Judge Fishman.
Good morning. Good morning. Council would state their appearances for the record, please.
Yes, Sean Martinez for the Division of Police Standards.
Robert Stowe on behalf of Robert Devine.
Mr. Devine is present as well. All right, before we resume the testimony, just to go over a few things. We suspended on June 6th because of the issue relating to various transcripts and recordings and other materials that had been represented, had been turned over to the commission, but had not been received. Subsequently, Mr. Martinez explored that issue with the Stoughton Police Department, was provided with additional transcript tapes and other materials from Stoughton Police after June 6th, and has shared those both with with us and with Mr. Stowe as well, my understanding. Before we go on, I wanted to find out, Mr. Martinez, whether the department or the chief or whomever you were dealing with ultimately indicated to you where they were located and or any reason why they're not provided initially to post.
So, Your Honor, I believe that the electronic exhibits, the flash drive that I had provided, were received from the investigator battalion, and they were on a USB drive. And then the interview transcripts, which were printed, essentially the way that the internal affairs investigation was kept was that there was the binder with the internal affairs investigation report, as well as the listed exhibits. And then there was a binder with the interview transcripts. And from my understanding, that binder of interview transcripts was never scanned. And the way that the Post Commission had received the internal affairs investigation with the exhibits was a digitally scanned copy. And from my understanding is that although there were two binders, only the one binder containing the IA report was originally provided.
So I didn't understand that until now. So Post actually had it. I mean, the division had it, just hadn't scanned it.
No. The Stoughton Police Department had
didn't
two
scan
physical
it.
binders.
Oh, they hadn't scanned it.
Correct. They had not scanned it. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the division did do a search of our records, including the assigned investigator, and we never received a copy of the interview transcripts.
Of course, you just didn't scan half of your binder. Half of your
The
case.
division had requested that a few documents, which were received subsequent to the hearing, be examined in camera, which I have done because I issued an order yesterday, I think, that indicated that I was going to honor the request to withhold them. For the reasons stated in my order, I'm not going to revisit that, but I said they're properly withheld. I do want to, of course, mark those for identification and have them sealed in case there's a need for any review subsequently. So can we arrange to do that?
All right. So some kind of documentation as well that is not apparently going to come into evidence. Not quite clear about that. Or if it is coming into evidence, it's withheld. It's going to be sealed. Didn't really clarify exactly what that means, but my impression is he's rejecting them, just having them marked for identification so that because we talked about before, they can appeal this up to Superior Court. Mr. Devine can if he doesn't like the outcome, so that they have a record of what it is that he looked at and said we aren't going to be able to rely on. Again, this is not the most thrilling stuff ever, this whole situation with the binders and the record. But I got to tell you, it really gets on my nerves. It really gets on my nerves because it just speaks to the lack of concern that these folks can continue to have for imposing some kind of accountability for this wrong behavior, all this terrible behavior that surrounds Sandra BIRCHMORE, that surrounds Karen Reed, that, now that we know from the Proctor text messages apparently affecting, all of these other criminal cases as well. There's just this stench. There's just this stench about investigation and law enforcement in this particular area. We are turning to Post in the hope that they are, as the body that is empowered to impose some kind of discipline, to say, look, this is the standard to be a police officer. Like, this is the floor here. You got to clear this bar. It's not really that high. Try not to lie and be a terrible person. So we're relying on them to impose some kind of accountability here for this guy who's not going to be criminally charged for what he did to Sandra BIRCHMORE, and what he did in the course of his leadership at the Explorer program. And so for them to be like so little concerned about that, you can't even bother to scan. You can't even bother to scan both of your binders. Like I just don't get it. I know things happen, but how do you not double check that? I mean, it's just when you're a police administrator, that's literally what you do. You manage a bunch of paperwork. You're not working a beat anymore. You're not out on patrol. You're not, driving around taking calls. Like your job is literally to manage the paperwork. And so just continues to show a real lack of concern that is so troubling. It's so cavalier. It's so unconcerned about the effects that these law enforcement officers have on the lives of real human beings. So I hope this is the last that we have to hear about this stuff. I know it's like not exciting, but like just could you just care enough to scan the stuff so you don't jeopardize this case, maybe like getting thrown out or something because you didn't scan the files. It's just crazy to me and so frustrating.
Yeah.
All right. The other documents that we received have well, it really depends on what happens with them ultimately, but because there is a discrete issue about possibly about why production wasn't made originally, I think as a group, they ought to be marked for identification. If parties want to introduce any part of that group, any documents from within that group as exhibits, they just would move those into evidence during the course of this hearing, and we could rule individually on those documents. But I think it's important to have the group of documents recently obtained by the division and provided to the respondent and to the commission be marked as a group as the next exhibit for identification.
So yeah, we're also going to be making a record of everything you didn't turn over.
What those
you didn't
identification numbers are. Okay.
Your Honor, if I may, I
Sure.
did submit a flash drive with the transcripts on them.
Right.
And I believe they were scanned in by Ms. Smith, and I thank you for your assistance. I got a PDF yesterday, and it's 190 pages, and I believe that is the physical transcripts that are involved. So I have intended to try to introduce them today as we go, but
So they're part of the larger body of documents that were received by the division and provided to us that were marking for ID. You certainly can move any document from that group you want into evidence, and we'll see what there's any objection. I'll deal with it. So you have it in a workable form now because they were scanned in, and you just at the appropriate time, why don't you just move them into evidence?
Okay.
All right. Is that okay?
yes. But the first page on it is actually what I did was scan it. Was my letter to Ms. Smith saying that here's what they are.
Okay.
So I don't know that should be in there, shouldn't be in there. That can be removed later on, but
It's part of. I don't know that it needs to be a record for the hearing. It's part of the documents received by it's a cover letter is what you're saying.
right, yes. But I'll be referring to the when they were scanned in, 190 pages. So I went to the 190 pages.
We don't care.
So when we got to the
Are you not enthusiastic about getting to the evidence?
Once we get past these preliminary,
We don't care about you scanning your cover letter.
It's appropriate to move them in at that time.
We told you.
That.
You wanted an evidence, move it
So
in.
you can work with them if you need to work with them during the course of the
It's
hearing.
normal trial practice.
Let's see.
Your Honor, as to those new documents, if they're, I do expect to reference one more. Does the hearing officer and staff have access to that OneDrive folder, or should I separately send the file that I expect to refer to?
That's contained within that OneDrive
Correct.
folder, yeah. Can you pull documents out of the OneDrive folder?
Yes, I have access to it. So if you just tell us what the document is when you introduce it, we can pull that.
Thank you.
So, before we get on with witnesses, are there any other preliminary issues that either party wants to make at the division? You have-
So I believe collectively, the parties have submitted all of the interview transcripts for admission, as well as the interview warnings that Mr. Devine reportedly signed. I do think it would make sense at this stage to introduce all those.
Okay, so you both want all the transcripts of all the interviews in, is that what you're saying?
So
Yeah, yes.
if we're in agreement, I think you had left out, or Mr. Excuse me, Attorney Stowe had left out one transcript, which I submitted this morning, and then the interview warnings, which I also submitted this morning.
Oh, okay, so the 190-page submission plus the two that you proposed today
Correct.
are what you're both proposing to be introduced into evidence?
Wasn't produced since we were here last. I think the transcript was from before. It's from another time.
So I think that there may be some confusion. If I'm able to.
I have in front of me. You're saying that was part of the recently received transcripts.
So essentially, there were two folders, one from the USB drive and one from the interview transcripts. The USB drive had the same, most of the transcripts, but in Word form, and then the interview transcripts were in PDF form. I think that may be where the confusion lies.
Which did this come from?
So that certainly came from the PDF files that were scanned, but let me double check if it's in the. Actually, it is in both. Excuse me. It was in both folders. Well, one was, I believe, originally Word format and one was PDF format, but it is in both folders.
Mr. Stowe, you seem to be indicating that you thought this came from some other.
I thought about it before. I thought it was provided in another format. I didn't think it was provided recently, and it doesn't judge me.
Are you objecting to it?
I don't object.
By the way, it has a cover sheet, and is that the way it appears in how you received it? T8 interview, or is that something you folks added?
So the hard copies had those cover pages. I don't believe that the copies on the USB drive did. And I think, for example, the copies of the transcript that Attorney Stowe provided are 1 or 2 pages off from my notes, and I believe that that's the reason, is because there's essentially 2 different forms of each interview transcript.
Are you trying to make this even more confusing?
I've been, doing mental cartwheels all morning, trying to figure out where those page numbers went wrong, and I think that's it.
Well, it shouldn't be necessary. You don't actually have to submit like multiple different formats of the same freaking thing. But nevertheless, I find it interesting that they're going to introduce all of these things, all of these interviews into evidence, because this is a record. And at least in theory, the presumption is that it should be public. Now, they're not telling us names of people, but these are interviews that were conducted over the course of the IA investigation. And so if the reason why we're not hearing about some of these other details and materials is because they're subject to the federal investigation protective order, these interview transcripts are not going to fall under that. It doesn't have anything to do with the FBI. This is Brian Holmes's work product. So I'm a little, I guess, I mean, I don't even quite know how to react to that. Like, this is presumably a large volume of information that the Stoughton Police Department relied on to reach a conclusion that he had this inappropriate relationship. And they didn't want him being a police officer, not only with their department. We heard from Chief McNamara, if he'd still been employed when the findings came in, she would have recommended that he be terminated. But they also don't want him to be able to be a police officer again. Like, it's that bad. It's that bad. And so we're just, is this like one of those discovery dump types of approaches where it's just such a high volume of stuff that the really bad stuff gets buried? Is that going to be part of the philosophy here? I don't know. Are they having faith that this is all going to stay shut up behind closed doors? Hard for me to imagine that that's the case, but I don't know. I don't know if anybody's requested them. I certainly haven't.
Okay. Well, let's do this. I'm gonna, and you know that it's not just the interview that the division is proposing over and above the submission that you've prepared that's been scanned. It's also has indicated a warning that is indicated purportedly signed by Mr. Devine, and those are being proposed. Do you have any objection to those?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so I don't know if that's the next one.
Yes, that's the next one. So
So the warnings will be exhibit number 12, and the interview will be 13. And then the submission, the remainder of the interview transcripts will be as a group. Mark the next exhibit after that, 15, I gather, or whatever however you say.
14, I believe.
Yes, yeah, that's true. 14 comes after 13.
Yes, 14 comes after 13.
All right, thank you. Let's,
So,
so is there anything else then we have to deal with preliminarily? Right, and this,
Your Honor, there is with regard to Mr. He reached out to him. He recently had back surgery, so we don't expect him to be here today.
okay,
So his affidavit is part of the record, so we're not.
We can talk about that afterwards. We won't expect him today. Let's talk about how you want to deal with it, whether an affidavit would be acceptable to both parties or whatever. But thank you for letting us know. I gather Mr. Holmes is here today.
Yes, that's all. This
And we'll continue with his cross-examination. Why don't we bring him in? Somebody want to get him? All right. Right, Chief Holmes, I'll remind you that you're still under oath, and would you state your name for the record, please?
Brian Holmes.
Thank you. We were in the midst of cross-examination of Holmes, but we suspended, so Mr. Stowe, you ready to continue?
I am, Your Honor.
Sorry, before I begin, we're going to please swear the witness again.
I just reminded him he's still under
Okay,
oath, so.
sorry, just want to check.
No.
Thank you.
All right, Jeff.
Mr. Holmes, I believe when we left off, we had discussed an encounter alleged by SB that on March 19 or on March 19, 2020, she had met with a Rob, and she later recounted that version of what happened on 8/16/2020 and described it differently. Do you recall that, sir?
No,
Do you?
I remember going through a series of questions. I don't remember that one specifically.
Okay. I asked if he has the exhibits. I asked you to look at the exhibit pages 502 through 513, sir.
We have at 502.
oh yeah, all these messages. I remember this now.
You're at 502. I want you to read 502 through 513 to yourself to see if it refreshes your memory, sir.
So I want to make sure I'm reading in the right spot, counsel.
Hey, sweetie.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
I got you. No bites.
okay.
Is that correct?
Everything except for that last part. I didn't see that, but I agree that we talked about it.
I draw your attention to page 513 and 514. The last entry on 513, sir.
Yes, I see here on 514.
And on 514, BK1, right?
Correct.
Now, sir, I want to draw your attention to page 526. 530.
Okay.
Okay, so two different versions of the same event, correct?
Yes.
Now, I'm turn to 538, sir. 538. And, I want you to read the pages leading up to that 530 through 538.
Oh my good lord.
Okay.
Is that a continuation of the exchange
Yes.
and that's regarding the same event, right?
Yes.
And, did I say that correctly, sir?
Yes.
Well, what would that mean, sir? If you recall, what is your understanding of what that means?
Objection, Your Honor.
Grounds?
Calls for speculation.
No, I'll allow the answer. Overruled.
It means, or
And that was on August 16 of 2020, correct?
yes.
Do you recall if SB stated how she went over to Rob's house for that event that she was describing in two different fashions here?
I remember being mentioned. I don't remember when.
I want to draw your attention to page 541.
I'm sorry. 5 what?
541. Now, throughout this email chain, sir, you will agree with me that Billy Farwell is looking for a story.
Objection.
So this is with Billy
Billy
Farwell.
was acting like a pervert, wasn't he, sir?
Objection.
Same.
He's
Did
acting
you have
like
the opportunity to read
her.
page 541?
Yes.
Now, you know Mr. Devine, right? You've known him for years.
Yes.
You know his wife, right?
I do.
You know his children, correct?
Yeah. To a lesser degree. Yes.
He's got a daughter. We discussed her earlier, last time we were here, correct?
Yes.
He's got a son. Is that correct?
Yes.
You know his son's name? So, and he's also has a couple of big German shepherds that never stop barking when you call. He has a couple of German shepherds, sir?
No.
No. You're not familiar if he has any dogs.
I know. Yeah. Dachshund. And a mix. I think. I don't really remember.
Well, you guys kind of dissolved the friendship years ago, correct?
Yes.
So she represented that she just kind of went over to his house. Is that right? And did you ever, you collected 50,000 plus pages of text messages and email messages, is that correct?
Yes.
All kinds of phone records, right?
Yes.
Did you ever find a phone call from Mr. Devine to SB asking her to come over?
I found an audio call, Facebook audio call. I didn't find any phone call that I can recall.
found an audio, did you hear his voice in an audio call?
No, it was just a record that an audio call through FaceTime was made somewhere in this record.
Did you identify that as evidence in the case at all, sir?
It's in the exhibit.
Was that part of the Marty Riggs exchange?
Yes.
Okay, so back on, I want to talk about back on March of 2020. Did you find any communications between SB and Mr. Devine requesting or having SB go over to his house?
This is like a terrible, this guy is not good at asking questions. Hi there, Gus. Because he's just told you there was a Facebook audio call between Marty Riggs and Sandra BIRCHMORE, and he's taking the position that Marty Riggs is your client. And if you're trying to say you're trying to like point out, I guess, that he didn't use his own like personal cell phone or traceable identification to communicate with her, okay, but you're not articulating that very well. He's just going to repeat that your client was Marty Riggs, and so this Marty Riggs Facebook call is the one that they think is where he told her to come over or invited her to come over or whatever. And it's there in the exhibits. You should know it's there. I can't quite tell what this lawyer's doing here.
No.
So there's nothing to corroborate or even going to his house, correct?
No.
No, there's nothing to corroborate or no?
There's nothing to corroborate other than the substance of the text messages exchanges coming from her to Billy.
And there's never been any phone calls that you've been able to directly connect to Mr. Devine, is that correct?
I don't believe so, no.
So, are you aware that Mr. Devine has a daughter and a son who would be home? Most likely be home at this time, correct?
Oh God, his kids would be home. This is a terrible excuse. This is starting to get into the kind of just this is a red flag when I'm talking to somebody that absolutely did it, okay, but isn't going to admit it, and they're in massive denial that they did it. And one of the approaches that they will take to try to persuade you is to make it like it's impossible that this could even have happened. And usually it's rare that it's impossible. And if it is impossible, like that's it. That's definitive evidence. You can definitively, for example, be placed somewhere else, and here's how we can prove it. And that's it. You don't have to have like 500,000 reasons for why this whole accusation thing is incorrect. Like that's it. His kids could have been home. That's supposed to like make it highly improbable that this happened. Number one, I don't have any reason to believe his kids would have been home or not. I don't know anything about his kids' schedule. His kids having babysitting, school, sports, you know? And I hate to say it, but the kids being at home with dad doesn't rule out dad doing some nasty stuff with the kids around. Kids go wait outside. Daddy's got some important business to take care of. Like that's impossible or something. This is a terrible line of defense because it's not impossible. And you've just now kind of invited me to think about like, yikes. If that's on your mind, well, but the kids were home. Ugh. That's not inviting Good thoughts about this guy. And look at how he's sitting there, smug in his chair. That kind of like half eyebrow up, and that posture. How are you gonna deal with that? It's my kids were home. It's impossible. No, dude. Like, I think you maybe just made it worse. Did you just tell us your kids were home when you did this? Gross.
Sustaining that form.
Well, Mr. Devine had a daughter and a son. Is that correct? Back in March of 2020?
Yes.
Would it make sense to you that this young woman would just show up at his house?
Objection.
Sustained.
Sir, you were doing an evaluation of this evidence, is that correct?
Yes.
And when you do your evaluation of the evidence, you look at things that make sense to you, is that correct?
Sure.
And you track down things that make sense and don't make sense, and kind of evaluate the evidence in that fashion, right?
Yes.
And when you were evaluating this evidence, you gotta say, listen, we've got this text message that says you just showed up at his house out of the blue. Did you ever think while you're doing your evaluation that this didn't make any sense?
That's a tough question. I mean, you're talking about something that I was doing years ago. I mean, I was looking at the evidence and evaluating it.
That's not a good
When you
answer.
evaluate the evidence, would you look at this evidence in your normal fashion and normal practice and say, hey, listen, we need to find out who might be home at that time?
No. I don't think so.
No.
You wouldn't have done that?
I don't think so. I don't believe I did.
Now, during the same time frame, March of 2020 through August of,
I mean, I'm still trying to kind of wrap my head around how the expectation is that the IA officer should have investigated who was in his home a year before, or, you know, three quarters of a year, 9 months, something like that. Sandra died in February 2021. We're talking about March of 2020. A year earlier, on any one random day, he should go find out if the kids were home. This is just not a reasonable expectation. And look at the smile on that guy's face. That little smirk, like he really thinks this is getting somewhere. Is this just me, or is everybody else like not remotely bothered by Officer Holmes not finding out who was home? Like, if somebody was home, why don't you go ahead and put that person on the stand? I mean, is Mr. Devine, we already know Mr. Devine's going to get on the stand, and I have a feeling it's going to be a train wreck, but so great. Is he going to tell us it's impossible? My kids were home. Like, they really think they got something here. And it's not landing with me. I guess that's all I can say.
2020, when we had the change in the virtue fact. She was also having communications with the Joshua Bell. I'm sorry, Joshua Keel, is that correct?
Yes.
I want to draw your attention to page 401. I'm sorry. 608, I'm sorry. It was 401 the date, the conference.
608, you said?
608, yes. It was a conversation on 401.
Okay, 608.
Now, actually, I want you to go up to page 605 and read through 608.
Yeah. I don't know if they labeled it different way. I don't have the numbers. 608. 5?
Yeah, 605 and 608.
607 is very last text is overwritten. Okay.
605 to 607, you know who that's an exchange between, sir? The conversation from 605 to 607. Did you ever follow up on who this conversation was with, who these people were?
So this is black case. This is in sporadic order. I may have identified who it was through Cellbrite. I don't remember right now.
What's the word you use? Black case?
Black case is the original data format that I received the thumb drive on. Later, after the cell phone was cracked, it came in Cellbrite form.
Gotcha.
Were you ever able to confirm that there was a communication between Mr. Devine and anyone regarding people coming to his house on September 29, 2019?
No,
And is that something you would have checked?
I may have. I don't know. There was a lot of data poured through, a lot of work that went into this.
Now, I want to go to Mr. Field. Page 608.
Okay.
Read page 608 through 610 yourself, sir.
You said stop at 610?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Could you tell me the participants to that conversation, sir? So whoever this Rob is at this point, she doesn't want anything to do with him, correct?
According to this, yes.
And that was on April 1 of 2020, right?
Yes.
And she never mentions the name Devine in this exchange, correct?
Right.
Now, talk briefly about these text messages and what you have and what you don't have, what you could extract and not extract. And are you aware that SB has had text messages back in 2017?
I'm vaguely familiar with the time frame. That sounds accurate.
But the only documents you got were for approximately a year that you produced to us were for a year. And there were 50,000 pages in approximately a year of her communicating with others.
Objection.
I actually don't understand the question. Why don't we rephrase that?
Well,
It's not a
there are
question.
approximately 50,000 plus, more than 50,000 plus pages of text and email messages, correct? That you secured from SB's phone.
To put a number on the black case file, it was somewhere in the neighborhood of anywhere from 30 to 50,000. And then Cellbrite, I couldn't even give you a number or a time frame.
There's more,
A lot more.
a lot more. So 100,000 pages.
I said I couldn't even give you a number.
It's a lot for years of extraction of records. Is that correct?
Sure.
And how is it you put together these documents? Because these documents are part of the report. How did you pick these specific documents out of all of those?
So there was basically anything that had evidentiary value or anything that that was conversations with SB and anybody who was involved with this case.
In the documents you have are PDF searchable, aren't they?
The black case was PDF searchable. Cellbrite was you'd have to select stuff and print. and it's more like an Excel format.
And did you just type in the name Rob and this is what came up?
I did a large amount of filtered searches. So using Cellbrite program, you'd go in, you'd select the file that you were working on, and you could put in anything for search criteria.
And you put in search criteria for the name Rob in these instances. Is that
Sure I
true?
did.
And this is what came up. Right?
Not in these documents. So Cellbrite was a lot more selective, a lot more refined to be able to filter searches.
And so far, the only reference to Divine was a conversation from 2019 that we can't identify the participants in. That begins at page 605.
There's no reference to Divine that I located. Everything is referenced as Rob.
Now, in SB, kept her text messages back to 2017, didn't she?
I don't know when she kept it back to. I
Page
think the one I did.
572.
So there is a reference to Divine. That's what he just told us. There's a reference to Divine in one of her conversations with somebody she's having with somebody that's unidentified. And it's back in 2019. So she's talking about Divine in the text messages. And of course, we don't get to see what she said, but uses the name Divine on this one occasion. And then the rest of the time he's referenced as Rob. I don't have the context for all this, right? But the hearing officer is going to. And so far, I mean, just my knee-jerk reaction is that if the name Divine is in her communications, unless the communications make it real clear that like this is a one-time reference, it kind of seems to make it maybe more likely that Rob was Divine. Does she ever say Kuhn in her text messages? Since that seems to be who you want to blame it on. Does she ever say Kuhn in her text messages? I'm guessing if she did, you'd mention it. So if I don't hear that, all I'm going to hear is she talks about Rob and she talks about Divine. And those things kind of seem to go together, don't they?
Sorry. Take a look at page 572.
Just before we leave this, to make sure I'm following this. If you look at page 605. So am I reading this right?
Yes.
Okay. I thought I just heard there was no mention of Divine, and maybe I misunderstood.
Sure, I stand corrected, Ron.
That's, I believe, Judge, my question is geared toward the only reference we had is between, with the Divine was between these participants we couldn't identify at the end of page 605.
Oh, because we don't know who's talking here is what you're saying.
Correct.
I got you.
And it's from 2019.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. Okay.
Page 572, sir. I believe my
Okay.
question was whether or not SB kept her records back in 2017.
I don't even get where this is going. Like the time frame. Are you saying you have just 1 year's worth of communications, or are you saying you have them back to 2017? Like the whole significance of this Divine is only in there once. If it's 1 year, like, is that what you're saying? It's 1 year and Divine's in there once, or are you saying it's multiple years and Divine is in there once? This is really terrible questioning from this lawyer, because I don't understand even what like fact that he's trying to establish, let alone what's the significance of it. The fact that Divine is in her text messages at all is probably not great. I mean, I don't know. I can't see the conversation. It's going to depend a lot on the details on that conversation, isn't it? And the hearing officer is going to see those. So he'll know. But the conversation with Billy Farwell, apparently, about Rob certainly sounds pretty incriminating. So she's talking about Rob and she's talking about Devine to somebody else. I don't know. I don't see this being helpful. I don't see that I would be drawing attention to this if I'm Mr. Devine. Especially if my only defense is couldn't have been because surely my kids would have been home. It would be impossible. And this is like on the I don't even sweat, you know, kind of kind of level of no, it's not possible excuses. My kids were home. So what?
Did you read the first entry on page 572?
Read some more. Why not?
SB had kept their text messages back in 2017. Is that fair to say?
According to this, yes.
Page 579. You read page 579 to censor. Thank you. Sorry. The last entry on that page, sir. SB writes.
I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong page.
579.
That's correct.
So would you have text messages from your extraction that go back to 2017, sir?
I don't remember reading any.
And the ones you did search, and you searched for Mr. Devine, this is the only thing you came up with was what we have here. It is exhibits in this form, correct?
Correct.
So once again, in this narrow segment of her text messages for 1 year, despite them having other years worth of them that aren't even being discussed here, apparently. She talks about Rob and Devine. Devine once, Rob multiple times, and you think this is helpful.
According to what we've reviewed here today, yes.
Now, I want you to read pages 580 and 587.
580 to 587.
Yes, sir. Next 2 minutes.
Okay.
This is just very
That
absurd.
appears to be an exchange between whom?
We can't see or know what any of this
Is that
is
fair to
based
say?
on.
The user's not identified. I can't say that it's somebody from the department or not.
And the person she graduated with, who was a dispatcher at the time, who worked for the police department, was a Mr. Kavanaugh. Is that right?
Yes.
We briefly discussed Mr. Kavanaugh before, and in the meantime, you provided us his transcript, right? Well, we've been provided the transcript.
He was a witness in this case.
And he was a dispatcher that you interviewed?
He was.
He graduated with her?
Yes.
So someone reading this would lead you to believe that this was Mr. Kavanaugh, correct?
Objection.
No, I'll allow whether that's what you concluded at the time.
I later identified through Cellbrite, Mr. Kavanaugh having conversations with SB, and he was identified as a witness. I can't say that it was this one text exchange.
So in this exchange, the name Robert Devine comes up. Why? What's the significance of that in this exchange?
Objection.
So again, I'll allow your state of mind at the time that you saw the name Robert Devine. What did you conclude? Robert Devine.
I mean, they're talking about Rob Devine. That's long and the short of this conversation.
They've eliminated Robert Devine in this conversation, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing where, I'm not seeing that in this conversation. They're trying to identify somebody at the PD. They figure it out that it's a dispatcher. So I didn't draw any one conclusion based on this one exchange.
Now, I want to draw your attention to page 589. Another conversation from 2019. This is approximately 2 weeks later from the ones we were just looking at, I believe.
Okay. Yes.
So those people are so popular with her that they actually have codes between these two people, right?
I mean, I was aware that she created codes, and she talked about it.
He wasn't a code for Robert Devine, was there?
Apparently not.
Yeah, he wasn't in their loop, was he?
Well, sounds like he was Rob.
I mean, I didn't draw that conclusion from this.
He wasn't significant enough to them to have a code for him because they didn't talk about it all the time, right?
Objection.
Staying.
They didn't have a code to Mr. Devine, right?
I don't know that.
Why did you select this particular exchange, sir, as evidence in this case?
Objection.
What was your state of mind?
You're asking why he included that in this report.
Yes.
It's overruled.
So the whole thing is an exhibit. The whole exchange, all of it is an exhibit. It wasn't just one exhibit. So in totality, there was pieces of each of these conversations that were evidence.
Why would you select this particular entry from August 25, 2019?
Your Honor, I'm going to object again because the division are the ones who selected this group of text messages. That's how the exhibits for this were created.
It wasn't attached to his investigative report.
So it's, from my recollection, it's included in the hard drive, but not in the IA report.
That's what I'm asking.
Yes.
You disagree with that? So,
I'd have to go back through all the 500 pages and look at it, Judge. I can't do that right now. Do you see any significance to this exchange as it relates to Mr. Devine? And when I say the exchange, I'm specifically referring to pages 589 to 590 from a conversation on August 25, 2019.
I mean, the significance is that he's mentioned. It's noteworthy that the codes A, B, C, D, and E, or whatever she ended up having. If you were suggesting that he's eliminated from this, then I don't disagree with you from the codes.
Okay. Did you ever go back to try to find out who the persons identified as A, B, C, D, and E were?
I probably did.
Did you put that in your report?
I probably did not.
Would you have kept any notes anywhere about who these people are?
Maybe. I mean, it's a pretty large case file. I mean, the entire Cellbrite hard drive is an exhibit in this case.
Well, Cellbrite is in your notes, is it?
Cellbrite is not my notes.
Did you keep any notes relative to who A, B, C, and D were?
I don't think I wrote down who A, B, C, D, and E were.
Did you find any communication from Rob Devine that's set forth at page 589 on about August 25, 2019?
If you're, I'm so sorry, what are you asking me? You did.
Did you ever find any kind of communication between SB and Robert Devine that you could attribute to this statement?
Just the communication with the Facebook alias.
Well, this is 2019. The Facebook alias is, what Facebook alias?
Marty Riggs.
Okay, Marty Riggs wasn't until November of 2020,
Okay.
right? So this is 2019. Back in 2019, on or about August 25, 2019, did you find any communication between Robert Devine and SB that you could attribute to her response? Now, I want to draw your attention to, Judge, this is the photograph I discussed.
Right, we're just not gonna put that up on the screen.
I draw your attention to a photograph, an email, page 603.
Okay. So for
And this is part of that exchange we earlier discussed from August 16 of 2020.
yes.
What is your understanding as to what that was?
I mean, I have to go back and establish why it was in there. I mean,
Okay, you can go back, please go back and refresh. You can see what it says. So you are drawing the conclusion that that is a picture of Mrs. Devine's penis.
we're not.
You're not.
What? I don't want to know more about this. I don't want to know more about the dick pics. I really don't. It's no, don't. You shouldn't be sitting there smirking while we're having a conversation about whether you sent her a dick pic or not. It's not a good look.
So whose penis is that?
I don't know.
You don't know. You ever try to find out if there was an exchange between SB and Mr. Devine wherein he sent her a picture of his penis?
We first had to identify what account he was using, so we did our best to try to discover whether or not anything like that happened.
Okay. And you found, aside from the Marty Riggs documents, leave those aside, you found nothing that was an exchange between SB and Mr. Devine that you could link to this photograph, correct?
That's correct.
Is it like impossible for him to use a burner phone or something? You know? Is that, am I supposed to believe he's like never heard of something like that?
You have no communication at all between them except for what you claim is the Marty Riggs files, right?
I don't believe I located any other communication other than the Marty Riggs account.
So she seems to be like sharing it with somebody
We
else,
already went
saying
over
it's
this.
Divine's,
40606.
and so they're trying to like impeach that. It's not his. She's lying about the dick pic.
I want to draw your attention to page 612. Page 612 yourself.
You did.
Did you ever find before the Marty Riggs documents, which are in November of 2020, did you ever find any communications between Rob Devine and SB that could be attributed to her texting Rob on or about May 14, 2020?
You said other than Marty Riggs?
Yes.
No, I didn't.
Marty Riggs we agreed that Marty Riggs started until November.
I'd have to read it, but if you're saying that that's what the case file says, then I'm not disputing that.
On page 614.
So like I'm just trying to kind of make sense of what this theory is, right? The theory is all the things that she is telling other people Robert Devine did, conversations they had, images that were shared, so forth. She made it all up. And so for what purpose? We're just at such a disadvantage not being able to see the substance of all this stuff. And I find it kind of irritating. I really do. I mean, I understand the privacy concern, but you're using it as evidence. And you're using it as evidence on a matter that is kind of important for public purposes. Should this guy be a cop or not? This hearing officer is going to make a recommendation to the commission as a whole, whether he thinks this evidence substantiates that Robert Devine engaged in misconduct with Sandra BIRCHMORE. And so unless he like doesn't consider any of her statements, which he might do because as they keep pointing out, she's not here to be cross-examined. So there are some hearsay problems potentially with maybe a lot of these communications. So, I mean, if he just doesn't rely on them at all, okay, I guess. But it's just they're being used as evidence. They were something that the IA investigator relied on for an IA report, IA action being taken. I don't particularly love this invocation of privacy. I really don't. Like it's gone beyond that by bringing it into this kind of adjudicative process. There's no way to be able to evaluate it if we can't see it for ourselves.
Do you know who that exchange is between?
Appears to be yes.
And during your investigation, you learned that SB had regular communications with Matthew Farwell, correct?
Yes.
Regular communications with William Farwell, correct?
Yes.
Regular communications with Joshua Heel, correct?
Yes.
They're all police officers working for the Stoke Police Department or an animal control officer working for the Stoke Police Department back in 2020 and 2021,
Correct.
correct? So talking to any one of them, you can get schedules from each other. Okay, is that fair to say?
Sorry, what are you asking me?
Yeah, well, I'll withdraw. Is there a schedule that people know each other's schedules and who's working and things like that?
Yes.
So she could get any of the information she wanted regarding, you know, where Mr. Devine might be. from others,
Oh.
correct?
Sure.
Oh, she's just like those psychos who can't stay away from him, right? Just like the one he had to sick the police on back in 2015 while he was still having his extramarital affair with her. Sandra BIRCHMORE is just like that. Everything is about this guy, right? She's just so obsessed that she's getting schedules from the Farwells so that she can make up stories about Robert Devine. What? Because she wants him so bad? Really? Really? This is next level.
Page 621. So page 620. Page 620 and 621 should sound so. Now, the name Rob is referenced in that exchange, sir.
Yes.
Who's that exchange between?
It's another exchange with Josh Hill.
And that's on October 21 of 2020, correct?
Yes.
And what is discussed in that exchange, sir? In the first part, halfway through page 26. Can you tell us why certain of these text messages have double entries in them? For example, page 622.
Sure, that's a technological flaw of the black case system.
What is your understanding of the flaw?
It's replicating messages.
Are you an expert in the black case system?
And not.
Sir, I want to change gears. Because I believe we've gone through all those messages. Talk to you about Marty Riggs documents. I believe they start at page 355. Now, sir, when entering onto you have familiarity with entering onto a iMessage account? How you get onto it?
I mean, Facebook Messenger. I'm familiar with that.
Okay. How does one create a Facebook Messenger account?
You have to have a Facebook account, I think. Download the Facebook Messenger app.
And who does that?
The user.
Is that the person who owns the account?
Yes.
And then the owner of the account sends out messages to people for them to respond, right?
Yes.
So the first entries in the account should be from the person who created the account, right?
Sure.
Not always.
Now, it's your assertion, is it not, that there are similarities in these Marty Riggs extractions which parallel Robert Devine's life, and therefore Robert Devine is in fact this Marty Riggs character that's here, right?
I mean, I didn't characterize it like you described it, but yes.
Why don't you use your own words? What do you
Based on the evidence, I drew the inference that it was your client.
And you drew the inference that it was a Stoughton police officer, correct?
Yes.
Despite the fact that Marty Riggs documents never even mention the word Stoughton, correct?
I mean, it may, I have to look at the.
Oh my good Lord. He just said you can infer it from the evidence. He didn't specifically say Stoughton. Yeah, you know, Amber Heard didn't specifically say Johnny Depp either. That's what an inference is. This is not good impeachment. Inference is by definition. They didn't say it outright. He inferred it from the context. If you want to explore that, maybe explore how he reached that inference. But the fact that explicit things are not there, it isn't contradicting that at all.
Whole thing.
And you found other aliases that you tracked down, didn't you, sir?
I don't remember if I did.
Tara Michelle. Remember that?
Yeah, she was identified.
And you put her in your report, didn't you, sir?
I believe I did.
It's that page 40.
You want to page 40?
Do you, when you drafted your report, what was the significance of this alias, Tara Michelle? Making a finding against Mr. Devine.
So she.
And you recall finding another alias of Superman 167?
I vaguely remember that, yes. I don't remember if I put it in here or not.
Soup Man?
We go back to page 355.
I'm lost on the significance of this. So there's multiple people who have aliases and handles and whatever.
Is that
So what?
part of your claim against him for actions on becoming an officer?
I believe it is.
Page 385. I want you to read page 385 through 386 or so. Actually, it's 387.
Okay.
Does that document what you're claiming Mr. Devine did as Marty Riggs? Well, you'll agree with me, sir, that what is a chateau, first of all?
It's a restaurant.
And where is the chateau in Stoughton?
The 1100 block of Park Street.
And you're aware that there are 10 chateau restaurants. Are you, sir?
I know they're a franchise.
For franchise, there's one in Norwood, right?
Yes.
There's one in Braintree. All right,
Don't know where the other ones are, but I know that there's more than one.
Franklin, Norton, and those ring a bell?
Nope.
How close is Braintree to Stoughton?
20 minutes.
How close is Norwood to Stoughton?
20 minutes.
And where was SD living on or about November 2020?
Canton, I believe.
Anywhere in this document. Sorry, you said there was another location in this document, sir, that references a section.
Yes, I remember reading it.
Is it possible you can find it for us?
Try.
Lilith.
What were the pages you just referred to?
Sorry, between 416 and 422, Your Honor.
Okay.
I think that was it. I didn't read the very beginning of the conversation. Could have been more, but that's my memory. Those are the references.
So those are references, right?
Yes,
And as you're reading through these documents, you see a lot of,
yes.
so when the exchange was made on page 385, when the conversation was on page 385, you know the tense or the tone of the message, whether or not it's funny? They were joking around.
Oh boy. Can you
Is
tell
there
the
anything
tense and
corroborate
tone?
that SB actually went there?
Other than the text messages, no.
Is there anything following up that corroborates their meeting? And you're surmising that this is Marty Riggs's Robert Devine. Why?
He's having a conversation with SB. The timeliness of him being admitted to the bar is in sync with the discussions in here. He's a movie fan. I know that he likes movies because I like some of the same ones. It would not be unrealistic for him to pick a name like that for a screen name. And then the conversation that he ends up having with SB. And then, you know, knowledge of the town, things like that.
The timing of his admission to
No.
the bar sounds kind of a big deal.
It was common knowledge around the Stoughton Police Department that Mr. Devine was becoming a lawyer. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And was it common knowledge when he was going to be sworn in?
I don't know. It wasn't something that was talked about, so.
But everyone knew he was going to law school, right?
Yes.
Oh, so she stalked
And-
that too? She hunted it down so she
It
could
would be
make up,
public knowledge if he was being sworn in on a particular day.
or
Isn't it?
somebody else.
If he talked about it, I'm sure.
Somebody else now is victimizing Devine, pretending to be Marty Riggs.
And you understand that Mr. Devine says that this Marty Riggs is not him, right?
Right.
So the only communication you have, Mr. Devine, that you believe can draw to Mr. Devine is 2.5 months of communications. That is the Marty Riggs communications we have here. Right?
It sounds accurate what you're saying. There could be other references in this case file, but off the top of my head, that sounds accurate.
You have how many people working with you on this case?
Myself, mainly one guy, and then 2 additional people that were helping out.
Mr. Fries,
Yes.
who's it?
Lieutenant Bob Fries, retired MSP. He was in the district attorney's detective unit, I think in the Cape in Plymouth County. Retired, got his private investigator's license, and he does part-time police work for some small towns in Plymouth County.
And it was, well, Mr. Italiani,
Paul Littleine,
Lilith, sorry.
retired captain, Mass State Police, same scenario. You know, he did work for the different investigative units of the Mass State Police, came highly recommended. And then there was a Sergeant Mike Bates who ran a private IT company.
Sergeant Mike Bates.
Sergeant Mike Bates.
So he helped you with the IT.
Yes.
And beyond those three individuals, do you have any other help, sir?
I mean, town council helped out with reviewing documents. Other than that, no.
Well, you also had help, did you not, from the state police? Trooper Dunn,
Lieutenant Fanning was the guy who was sharing information with me.
Lieutenant Fanning, and he would give you information, right?
Yes.
And he was investigating this as well. So you had the state police and you had three individuals assisting you. You had you and you had town council going through all of these records, right?
Right.
And but based upon a joint effort, it's your opinion that the only records you found that you can attribute to Mr. Devine and the entire life of SB are what's here in March for 2.5 months. Is that correct, sir?
Could you ask that again?
For the entire life of SB. She represented that she kept her records back in 2017. She didn't delete anything, right? In her entire life, the only communications you can, or you are claiming, or you found that you are claiming or allege, are these Marty Riggs documents, which is a 2.5 month window in time.
Objection. The question is seeking information far outside the relevancy of this hearing. If he's asking about her entire life.
No, I'll allow it. See if you had any information beyond what's been referenced.
Sure. What you're describing is fair.
Okay, 2.5 months is Marty Riggs. Is that a defense? I'm not getting it. I'm just not. He found 2.5 months of Marty Riggs. Doesn't mean that there weren't others, you know, burners or other ways of communicating.
Now,
Things deleted that weren't recovered
when
from
you
the
went opens an
Celebrate.
account, sir. iMessage account. They can create a username. Is that fair to say?
Sure.
And their name can be changed on the account, can be changed anytime they want, right?
Yes.
And you're aware that SB created her own name for the account. Right? Do you have a signing name or anything like that?
I mean, she's a user. It's obvious from the content here.
And she can change her username to anything she wants. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, we know that between March of 2020 and August of 2020, SB created a version of fact which she had a relationship with with a Rob. And is that correct?
Yes.
She created a version of fact with a relationship with Rob. Is that how he described it? You could just be a normal human being and say, Sandra Birchmore described a relationship with Rob in March to August of 2020. You could just say that. They're like so bending over backwards to smear her and impugn her. And, you know, oh, she made this up or she lied about that. That they can't just be normal. Even with something like this. That's all you got to say. March to August of 2020, she claimed to have a relationship with Rob. She created a version of fact. It's like this makes you look worse. It does, because you look so defensive. You look so aggressive with your smearing when it's not necessary. And that's part of your overall credibility here. You know, are you able to connect on a reasonable person kind of level? We're going to see things the same way. I don't think anybody but you is seeing she created a version of fact with a relationship with Rob. Everybody else is thinking she claimed to have a relationship with Rob in this time period. She described it. It sounds like maybe she described it in some somewhat inconsistent ways. Are those like real significant or, you know, differences or not? I don't know, because we don't get to see them. But that's how I think normal people are looking at this. And so by leaning on this, she created a version of fact. Like you gotta phrase everything like, so she told this lie that, you know, it's going to be very, very off-putting to anybody who isn't already sharing that assumption.
And she started telling people about it, such as Mr. Heel on April 1, correct?
Correct.
And we know from the context of his communications that Billy Farwell was trying to get more stories out of her. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you know from your investigation that SB gravitated towards the drama.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Her aunt, I think it was her aunt who told you, right? Her cousin, second cousin, told you that.
Probably, if you're referencing,
Second cousin.
she probably told me that.
Did
Okay.
you read any of the interviews before you came in today?
No.
I'm not convinced you did,
But she liked drama.
lawyer.
She likes to create drama. Right?
Sure.
So I'm going to switch gears.
I mean, so that's going to be the explanation for why she's talking about Rob Devine.
When
and
we
her
were last here, we
relationship to other
discussed
people.
portions of your
She's creating drama.
IA
He's a
report,
victim.
but we didn't have the transcripts. We've gotten the transcripts since you're aware of that, correct?
I am now.
And I'm going to take them in order. Page 44.
Oh, you're back?
You interviewed him. Is that correct?
I did.
Who was
She lives in Salty, and she was I don't know if it was a second cousin of SB.
and she met through Facebook. Is that correct? I'm sorry. Yeah, she Facebook. Recall that?
I don't.
Can double screen it, yes.
Yeah.
I have the transcripts. And I want to go to page 35, the transcripts that
I think that's in the new documents yesterday.
Okay.
Oh, documents from yesterday. Yes, I'm sorry. I wasn't.
The 190 pages you were referring to.
Yes. I don't like glasses.
Oh, this is just
I
excruciating.
lost my glasses in front of me.
This is the most meandering, seemingly pointless cross. It's just it's a shotgun. It's disorganized. He doesn't know where his stuff is. He's not prepared because he's really, it seems like he's kind of winging it with what does he even want to say?
Yes.
So pages that.
This one is the individual one. I'm pulling up the binder.
Because if you knew where you were going, you'd have planned this out. You'd know where your references
Page
were.
35 should be page 4 of that. Oh, you have them that way.
Yeah, we're pulling up the binder now. And I'll just type them up. Right here.
We can do it that way too. Want to do them individually, with page numbers, but I think one of them doesn't have.
Okay, if that works for you, but I think we can also pull up the binder. I think we just found it.
Well, we have it here, right in front of us, right? You have the transcript and the report.
Right, but one of the transcripts I plan to use doesn't have page numbers. All the other ones do.
Right. What's the page again?
Should be pages, there should be 190 pages. I think that says 200,
Lizzie, could you just send me the link again? Yep, over email.
35.
Yes, and this is of the like full combined pages, correct? Just the one that the parties have. You want that
Just
one?
agreed to today.
Yeah, okay.
That's the original one.
Lizzie, do you email it to me? Yeah.
You found, that's what we need. That I think from.
Yes. Sorry, just give me 1 minute.
Here's some documents. And then, you see that?
All right.
I mean, just really landing this point here. It's going to be a real devastating one, isn't it? With all this effort that we're taking to set up something with the interview with the second cousin of Sandra.
All right. Here we go. Sorry about that.
Before we go there, so how much more time would you estimate will be with this?
Oh
witness?
God.
Judge, I could be here a couple hours, I'm sorry.
You have a couple more hours with them? you
I may
said?
have another, I have to go through, I plan to go through the transcripts we got.
Oh God.
They contain a lot of information that we didn't know about before.
I can't hear you.
I plan to go through the transcripts, Judge.
All right.
And then we have the journal.
Okay.
He's just really communicated to you that he's done. He's done. You don't have a point. If you did, you'd have gotten to it already. So he gets the picture. He gets the picture. You're arguing Sandra made all this up for whatever reason. Somebody else pretended to be Marty Riggs, who also, you know, targeted him. The conversations about Devine, I guess, what are these the ones that couldn't work because the kids were home? Like if you had a better point than that, I think we'd have gotten it already. He's telling you loud and clear. Whatever you're doing here ain't working. And you had an opportunity to maybe buy a little good faith back. You know, oh, well, Your Honor, I guess I can. No, a couple hours you're going to take because of these transcripts. You didn't have them before. So there better be some good stuff in these transcripts. But somehow I doubt that there is, or you would have focused on that and not wasted our time with whether or not it's possible that Mr. Devine's kids were at home during this meeting time that Sandra apparently described to somebody else.
Sir, I believe I asked you that, she reached out to, strike that. You did the interview of, is that correct?
I did.
And she told you that she was SB reached out to her through Facebook. Is that correct?
I can't remember if it says that's what she did, then that's what she did.
Okay. If you go down to that's incorrect. If you go down to the halfway to 3/4 way down, it says is that correct? It was Facebook. She Facebook there.
Sure.
These
So I just want to make sure
conversations
because it seems that SB Facebook everybody. Facebook was her favorite way to communicate with people. Did you get that impression as you went through these interviews?
No, I mean, she communicated with a lot of people. I agree with you.
Thousands of within a year, it was tens of thousands of communications, right?
Yes.
It's an insane amount of communications. Would you agree that it's raised the question of her mental state?
Objection.
He's not impressed with that insane amount of communications. So she talked a lot. And you're going to try to turn that into indication of mental problems. I mean, I don't. You got to have some kind of foundation for that. That was not impressive to the hearing officer. Did you hear that tone? Sustained.
So she learned about her pregnancy from SB, correct?
Yes.
And
Can you tell me what page?
Sounds 35.
35.
and remember that in your conversation,
Vaguely.
page 42. Halfway down. Right there. So is that what she told you, sir?
I got the sense that it was trying to provide some life coaching to SB. That's accurate.
That's actually what she said, right?
Yes.
So when I go through your IA report, you conjure up the image of SB having a mental deficiencies, correct?
Sure, I'd agree with that.
But here's her cousin who spoke with her, and she thinks she's making the right decision. She's grown up, right?
Yes.
But her second cousin questioned her honesty, didn't she?
At some point in the conversation, I remember words to that effect.
Now, that never made it to your IA report, did it? That she questioned her honesty.
Sure, it's right in the transcripts, which is part of my AA report.
Well, your IA report is on the right, sir. In your narrative of it. We could scroll down on the right, page 44. Sure, you should have page 44.
He wasn't provided the additional documents that were submitted via the flash drive.
On the right side is
Oh, sorry.
page 44.
134.
You never included in your IA report narrative about your interview that she challenged the honesty of SB, did you, sir?
No.
But your memory is that she did challenge her honesty.
Yes.
On page 4. I think I could throw on page here. Okay, can I go to page 35 again? Paragraph. It was her opinion, was it not, sir, that she told you that when she spoke with Trooper Dunn, that SB was putting a lot of pressure on. Correct?
Yes.
And throughout your investigation, it was your belief that in fact Matthew Farwell was the father of the child, right?
Generally, yes.
And we now know
Objection.
that he's not saying.
Objection. What's the objection?
He's going to, I expect Attorney Stowe is going to cite to unsubstantiated media reports about DNA testing that was done.
Is that where you're going?
I am, Judge. I can't get the records protected. But there's been
Well,
a lot of information about this.
I don't know what that means, information. You mean people saying it in the media?
It's in the media, yes, sir.
I'm going to sustain the objection.
So SB was trying to get Matthew Farwell to change his life and become part of her life and participate in the birth of the child, of the baby, right?
Correct.
And the aunt was, and the cousin was concerned about that, right?
Right.
And the cousin actually met with her, right?
I don't remember.
Well, I told you that she had access to
Hearing officer rubbing his eyes
Now-
there.
One of the things you asked her, sir, was whether or not she ever heard the name Robert Devine. Correct?
I'm sure I did.
And what was her response?
I think she said no.
Did you put that in your report, your IA report?
I did not. I mean,
That-
I put a
damning.
summary of the interview. So it could be in there. I don't remember.
Well, here's a summary. If we can, you go through it and put, page 44, I believe you should have in front of you, sir.
Oh, good Lord. So Sandra didn't tell this guy about this
No, I
cousin.
didn't reference it in
about
the
Devine,
summary of the
therefore-
interview.
It didn't
When you went to
happen.
the police academy, you were trained that anything that was relevant should go in your report. Is that correct?
It's in the transcript, so it's in my report.
Ugh.
Oh, you didn't provide the transcripts. You didn't see the transcript until now, right?
It's not on me. I provided everything that I thought I was supposed to get to post.
But you never put into your IA report that she never heard about the name Robert Devine. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Page 49. No, not here. Page 49. Now, I asked you if she had met with her a few minutes ago. Do you remember that, sir?
I do.
Hey.
We scroll up a little more. Go down a little more, sorry. Starts with Brian Holmes, okay?
Buffy.
There was a response, is that correct?
That's correct.
So this is a person who had communication with SB, met with SB 1 month before her death, right?
So she connected with her. I
Connected with her.
don't see where it says they met.
And she confided in her cousin about the birth of the child, about pregnancies. Is that correct?
Yes.
She confided in her cousin about her sexual relationships with Matthew Barwell.
Yes.
And when you asked her about Robert Devine, she never heard of him. Right?
I mean, if that's what the record reflects, then that's what I asked her, and that's what her answer was.
I'm not buying the importance of this because it doesn't seem like Devine mattered at all. Him to her or her to him. So why would she bring it up? People don't like randomly bring up your ex when you're telling your friend or your cousin or whoever about your new dude, or like, this is what's going on in my life right now. Nobody, I don't think, is saying she's got something going on with Robert Devine that like matters to her right then. It's frustrating because I wish, we don't know what she says happened between them. We don't get to know any of these details. So it's just so hard to tell what the significance, if any, of any of this is. But it doesn't sound like a significant thing. We've heard she went to his house. We've heard something about a dick pic. This does not sound like serious relationship making stuff. I don't know why we would assume that she would tell the cousin if she did have something going on with Robert Devine at some point.
That's not the report. In your report, your item, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Next one, it's the original documents, page 48. Sir, you, interviewed a
Yes, I did.
scroll down, please. No, this was Miss SB's roommate in college in the years 2019 and 2020, correct?
Yes.
And he was kind of more than a roommate because he went out with her all the time, right?
I mean, they were roommates, they knew each other. I remember they took a car trip to Stoughton. It's in the transcripts, whatever whatever he told me. I don't remember that.
Page 185 of the new stuff. He told you.
He did.
Did that ever make it into your IA report?
Nope.
And
But he had a relationship with her,
told you that, didn't he, sir?
and that should have
That's
gone
what the
in
record
report.
shows, and that's what he told me.
Is that correct?
How is
Yes.
that
So that would have been
exonerating?
in 2020 that he lived with her, right?
Yes.
And he was actually her roommate before COVID struck, and then they broke up for, and they got back together. And two other roommates, right?
I don't remember that part about getting back together, but what you're saying about COVID and things coming to a halt is accurate.
But you never put in your report that he denied knowing God, right?
Right.
And this was a person who she drove around with. And she confided in him that she had slept with Matthew Farwell and William Farwell several times.
That's correct. If that's what's reflected in the record, then yes.
Now, you also showed him a text message. You asked him if you wrote it. Remember that, sir?
I don't.
Page 181.
181.
181, yes. You showed him a text message that actually had his name, right? You identified with his name on it.
I don't think I ever did.
Runner, if I may, I didn't have this on the drive, but this was an attachment to this transcript.
Ever recently provided material.
Yes, yes.
You know anything further?
Let's,
Yes, I do.
Judge, are you offering it?
I am to.
Any objection?
That's fine, Your Honor.
The next exhibit, what are we up to?
So that would be the respondent's exhibit 27.
It's all right.
The witness have a copy.
He does. Sir, I showed you a text message string, and on it, it has handwritten. This is what we got. This is what was with the attached.
Go up on the throat.
Me too.
Well,
Oh, here it is.
actually, I don't know if you have it.
I only have one. I don't know how many copies of this.
I can make a copy. So is this related to?
Does that say 8 2? I think it still says 8 2. It's the same text message.
So why do I have it? You know where the text message is for 8-9, sir?
I don't.
So let me ask something. You see in your interview, there's two.
Oh, you're right. His father sat in on the interview with him.
Oh, and that's Jeremy.
Yes, sir.
And Jeremy asked, what's the date in that? Is that right?
Yes.
The answer is 8-9.
Yes.
And in the document we both have in front of us, which is now Exhibit 20, Exhibit 27, you see that there's a reference in that text to.
So the hearing officer is just going to
You
take
look
over
to
the
the third
question.
line of the text message. Sir,
I see that.
So he can get the stuff that's useful.
Okay.
are you showing the text message, sir?
I believe I showed him this.
You showed him that,
I believe I did.
and that was his phone number that you had put in the square, correct?
I believe it was.
And it says the sender is that phone number, correct?
Yes.
And he stated to you,
I'll just take it at that. What's the point?
well, the point is just that, others have
Ask the
said,
witness a question.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, he's getting less and less patient as this is going on. What's the point? I've been kind of saying that for like an hour now. What's the point?
Well, I'm not sure where we're going.
Not sure where we're going.
now, there was an instance where you asked, Officer Kavanaugh if he was participating in an email exchange, and he said, yeah. Remember that, sir?
Well, Kavanaugh's a dispatcher, and I don't remember a lot of the interview with him either.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, it's a little after 12:30. I think we could all use a break. We'll take our lunch break at this time.
He's had enough.
Get back here at 1:30.
He's had enough.
That's not good.
Everyone is here, so this is a question just before the parties do their exam of the witness. I just wanted to clarify for the record that the attachment that the respondent introduced will be responded to at 19, just to continue with our numbering. And we will send an updated exit list to the parties following the hearing, just so everyone can be consistent with numbering.
So you may continue.
I want to draw your attention, sir, to page 49 of the original.
Okay.
You took the statement of an Andrea Saka,
I did.
and she connected with Miss Devine. Sorry. Talking away. SB, when SB was about 21 or 22 years old for social media.
So first off, I don't know why we get to hear this person's name when like all this other stuff is redacted, but for some reason we get to hear this person's name. Oh, the Freudian slip, Miss Devine. Miss Devine, sorry, SB. Oh, that was not a good misstatement there. Let's hear about what they talked about. Maybe.
She had her as a student. That's what she met her. She reconnected, I believe, after she became an adult.
And again, that was on Facebook Messenger, right?
Yes.
And she confided in Miss Saka that she was pregnant twice, right?
I believe so.
But didn't talk about Devine?
Now, on page 49 of your report, which is up here, you indicated that correct?
Yeah, it should be, yes.
And that's because that's the only thing she needed help in was math, right?
I don't know. I mean, she had a lot of social struggles, so I don't know if
Social struggles are not educational issues, are they, sir?
one has something to do with the other.
Well, she was struggling with math.
I believe that's what was reported, yes.
And that's what Miss Soka was her math tutor, right?
I believe so.
And Miss Soka said that she wouldn't call her one of the most needy students. She definitely struggled with math. So that was the main area that she needed help in, right?
Sounds right.
With your report, makes it sounds like she has maybe social issues. Is that true?
She has social issues, that's true.
But she also said, did she not? She questioned SB's honesty, correct?
That sounds right.
The report is silent as to Ms. Wasoka questioning SB's honesty. Isn't that true?
I don't remember if I put it in there or not. I remember she mentioned talking about stories.
Well, so there you go. Could you please look at your page 49? 49 to 50 and tell me if you mentioned in the IA report that Ms. Wasoka represented to you that SB would lie. We could go to the new documents. Page 17. What page 17 there? I want to draw your attention to Mr. Kavanaugh, which I believe is the oldest documents, begins at page 50. Who's Brian Kavanaugh, sir?
Dispatcher.
Sure.
And
Up for the
we
third
briefly
time now?
discussed him the last time we were here, didn't we, sir?
Yes.
And you discussed with him, did you not, that there was an email that SB had written that said she had gone to Rob's house with a dispatcher from Stone Police Department?
It sounds familiar. It was not an email. Though.
What was it?
It wasn't an email. I thought it was a text message.
Text message? The iMessage?
One of those. Yep.
And he agreed with you that it sounded like him. The dispatcher, somebody who graduated, she graduated with school, Stoughton PD. You remember that, sir?
I don't.
Page 7 in the new documents.
you looking for?
Page 70 of the documents. Go in and keep that.
Sorry.
You present for his interview, sir?
Yes.
And Officer Fries asks him, wait, scroll up, oh, there we are. Asked him, he's never been to, just scroll down a little, down. So you had an email that sounded, or text message that sounded like it was Officer Kavanaugh, but it wasn't. Is that true?
I have to see the email. I mean, you keep talking about it in an email, a text, and iMessage.
Is he the only dispatcher?
Well, that was his testimony to you, his statement to you, right? And you found a print on it.
I did. That's accurate. That's a transcription.
So the transcriptions are all accurate, sir?
These ones are accurate.
Are there any that are inaccurate?
I'm sure that there's some out there in the world that are inaccurate, if that's what you're asking me. I reviewed them. I kept an audio file of all of them, and they all became an exhibit in the report.
Okay. Now, in your report, did you, he also told you that SB never mentioned Robert Devine in any capacity, correct?
If that's what the record indicates, then yes.
But she mentioned her relationship with Matthew Farwell, right?
Same answer. I mean, if that's what the record has up there, then that's accurate.
Now, there's also a text exchange that discusses him being on probation. That exchange was with SB. Do you recall that?
No.
Page 74. Robert Fries asks in the middle of the page,
Sure, that's accurate.
so you've got another email out there by someone saying that they didn't author it, that was being passed off as theirs. Right?
I don't follow you.
Well, we discussed a little while
I don't
ago
either.
about an email that I believe it was
You keep
Said
talking
he
about
didn't
this
offer.
email.
correct.
You haven't shown us the email. He keeps saying it's
that
a
was
text.
Talking about the text message.
Yeah. You said he didn't author that.
Sure, he denied that was him.
Now we have another email where Officer Kavanaugh says he didn't author that email, correct?
I guess so.
Now, Mr. Devine had told you that sometimes sometimes SB would just show up places, right?
Oh, like his
Sounds accurate.
house?
And Mr. Kavanaugh, as we previously discussed, unfriended her on his Facebook, right?
I don't know. Blocked her.
Blocked her.
Yeah, blocked her.
And he represented that she would just show up at different places, right?
Sure, that sounds accurate.
I want to go down.
Nope. You guys got to stay off this desk.
I go to transition over to Sergeant Hardy. And his IA report starts at page 59. Who was Sergeant Hardy? Or who is Sergeant Hardy? So he still is.
Roger Hardy is, right now he's an acting lieutenant. At the time he was a sergeant. Around about 1997.
And he worked with Mr. Devine, correct?
He did.
He started his position with DARE in the year 2000 at Doyle Middle School.
That sounds right.
And what was a DARE program?
Drug abuse resistance education started by Nancy Reagan. It was educational material, usually for middle school students, to come in and talk about drug prevention.
And he was at the school for approximately 12 to 15 years, right?
Sounds right.
And he recalls the RAD program. What is the RAD program? Is a rape aggression defense program.
Yes.
And the RAD program, who did he tell you was offering that program at the school?
I don't remember.
Tell you, was offering it then?
That sounds right.
Robert Devine, right?
Yes.
He's outside, right?
Yes,
You know him.
I do.
And he told you that basically they work together in this program at the school, right?
Okay.
I don't remember that. If it's in the record, then
It's 154. I'm sorry, page 154. You are right the first time. Top of the page. Highlight.
What's the point?
It was Robert Devine involved in teaching the class along with his wife. I believe so. So his wife was at the school with Mr. Devine. At the same time, they were both working there with the students, correct?
I don't know the construct of it. I know he referenced it based on what you have in front of us here.
Now, there was something at the gym called at the school, when we're talking about the school, it's the O'Donnell Middle School, right?
Right.
What is the O'Donnell Middle School? How many grades is it?
It's 5 through 8.
5 through 8?
Yes.
8th grade.
The hearing officer is struggling.
So, and that's where Mr. Devine worked, right? To the 8th grade?
Yes.
How old are 8th grade students?
7th and 8th grade, 12, 13, 14-year-old kids.
So that would be the age group he'd be working.
Sure.
And they had open gym at the school, right?
Right.
And the open gym was chaotic. Oh, strike that. Did Mr. Hardy tell you that the open gym was chaotic?
I don't remember. I know it was chaotic.
Sorry?
It was chaotic.
It was chaotic. Well, 30 kids a day and they're running around, right?
I mean, it varied.
Well, Mr. Hardy told you there was about 30 kids there, right?
If that's on the record, then that's accurate.
The next page, 155,
Buffy.
on the page. And he called it chaotic, is that correct?
How much time are we going to spend
I don't
on
see it up there,
chaos
but-
in the unrelated open gym?
It's up there. It's on the record.
And he worked at the Devine with the open student, open gym, right?
Yes.
And he never saw Devine disappear with any students, did he?
I don't believe so.
He also told you that he never saw Devine alone with any students, didn't he?
That sounds accurate.
Now, he also was Mr. Devine's supervisor on the 4 to 12 shift. Is that right?
Time frame?
Time frame for the 4 to 12 shift or the time frame?
Time frame that he was supervising.
Let's go to page 163. And were you present for this interview, sir?
Which interview is that?
The interview with Mr. Hardy.
I was.
And
He doesn't
on
even
page
remember what we're
160.
talking about by now.
163.
So boring and pointless.
163.
Yeah, that's exactly.
63. I can't see him playing as a bat.
He's doing the all the people did being abused, people defend.
Italiano. I'm going to say that wrong so many times.
Yes, sure. According to this record, this is a different interview, I believe.
Well, that was never put in your report. That he was a supervisor. Right?
No,
And he never had a problem with Devine responding to calls timely. Did he?
I don't think so, no.
That was excluded from the report, wasn't it, sir?
Yes,
He never saw Devine cruise around with females in a car
Oh,
or a
Lord.
cruiser. Is that correct?
I believe that's accurate. It
That wasn't in the report, was it?
was not.
So he didn't see the things that other people
If
report.
it's in the record,
that
then
didn't
yes.
happen.
165 to 166. Look at the bottom, it says, you're referring to SB on page 165. Oh, down. Did you?
That's correct.
Off that desk, Lilith.
That wasn't in the report, was it, sir?
No, it was not.
And in fact, SB reached out to Sergeant Harding. Is that correct?
I don't know.
Page 73 to 173 to 174. I'm talking about SB. He wrote at the end, did you, he's asked, okay. So she just showed up someplace where he was and reached out to him and said, I'm joining the military.
In this case, no. It appears that there was a call for service and he was there. Sergeant Hardy, that is, and SB lived in that neighborhood, Park and Haynes, and she just started talking to him at the call.
And she was the type of person that would walk up to you and just talk to you, right?
Right.
That was the thing she did. She just approached police officers, talking.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Sir, I want to draw your attention to Officer Tracy, IA report, page 60. Now, Officer Tracy used to be a friend of Mr. Devine, is that correct?
Yes.
Now, ask me this, the juvenile task force, it had an office in the police station, didn't it? And whose office was it?
It was, two juvenile officers and the DARE officer at one point in time.
And the juvenile officer who was in that space frequently was Mr. Devine, is that right?
Right.
And that was basically his office while he was there, right?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Tracy was so friendly with Mr. Devine that he used to call for them, right?
I don't know that, but I'm not surprised.
They went to Cedar Hill together, the vacation to Disney.
Yes.
Now, he worked with Devine as a school resource officer. They had open gyms at the middle school. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So he also worked with Mr. Devine, right?
Right. Yes.
Now, Devine's office was at the police station, right?
Right.
In his office has a glass door on it, right?
Right.
And there's cameras in the building, right?
No, not in that part of the building.
On that part of the building. So he saw that he thought was a student, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, how old are the middle school students?
12, 13, 14, 15.
And you wrote that. So you wrote down that it was a student, is that correct?
I did.
How old was the person?
The one in question in this case was 19 or 20,
Okay. Wasn't a student,
a college student.
a college student. Okay. Page 94 of the music. Sorry, Judge, apparently I didn't. The last night trying to do this. I have those. So, I'm sorry, Judge, this is Brian Kavanaugh. Page 94.
Oh, more about Kavanaugh? Should we talk about some more things Kavanaugh didn't see or hear?
Okay, page 94, sorry, 94 of this.
I don't think we have a foundation for Kavanaugh's omniscience, so.
Says. Is that what he said to you, sir?
That's correct.
Is that a question?
Yes, sir. Sir, you never asked Mr. Devine who's, did you?
I never interviewed Mr. Devine.
Do you ever ask about?
I never interviewed Mr. Devine.
Did you had the opportunity to send him 17 questions, didn't you?
I did.
And he responded, right?
Yes.
You never asked him about the person in this narrative here.
No.
Actually, you never even asked about, did you?
I don't know if that was a question that was asked by investigator Lilith or not. I don't have it in front of me, so he may have asked about that. I don't remember what I asked him. I don't know what the question said.
Now, sir, it wasn't the first time that pressed Mr. Tracy, or Mr. Tracy was pressed about the age of the individual that was in Mr. Devine's office. Right?
I don't remember. If I interviewed him about that and it came up more than once, then it came up more than once.
In page 93.
I don't know. I don't know what this line of question is in comparison to the other one, or how you're linking it together. I'm not really clear on this.
Page 97.
Don't know what the point is.
You pressed Mr. Tracy about the age of this person Mr. Devine was with. And you asked.
Oh, brother.
Right?
Are you asking me if that was my
Was that
decision?
his response?
Sure.
That's not in your report, is it, sir?
No.
The age of the person. And when referring to SB, page 99. Page 99. So a few minutes ago, you testified that she was an explorer, and here he is telling you that he doesn't know if the person's an explorer.
I testified on my own direct knowledge that she was an explorer.
Did you see her? Did you see her in Mr. Devine's office?
I did. I had my own confrontation with him about that.
Ooh.
When was that?
I don't know. I mean, he was deputy chief. I think I might have been a sergeant at the time. The student had to have been anywhere 19, 20 years old. and she was hanging around all the time in his office. And I had my own, less confrontational than Detective Tracy's, but my own concern and conversation with him about, what are you doing with this kid in here? You should be more careful. The optics of it, they're not good. So I had direct knowledge about being in the station.
So you had direct knowledge it was relevant to this internal affairs report, internal affairs investigation, Mr. Devine?
No, they're mutually exclusive. You're talking about a conversation that I had with your client, in that I confronted him about having from the office. It doesn't have any place in this report. We were asking the witnesses we were asking the witnesses about people that he was in the station with, and Detective Tracy answered questions about that.
You just testified a few minutes ago that Mr. Tracy was representing that Miss was in the police station. And now you're testifying that you had firsthand knowledge about.
No, I didn't say that. I am making the assumption, or making an educated guess, I guess you could say, that the person that Tracy was talking about would have been right around the same time.
Is that fair to say?
Reached out to the department.
Well,
I just followed the evidence.
follow the evidence.
All of the evidence.
Well, it's page 15 and
If that's what I put on page 5, then that's what I put on page 5.
you have a strong moral compass on these issues, don't you, sir?
Sure.
You have a strong moral compass against relationships out of marriage too, right?
I do.
And did you speak to Mr. Devine about having a relationship when he and his wife separated for some time?
Out of marriage.
No.
Affairs. Got a thing about affairs. Don't like them. Not unreasonable. I
Sir,
look
would you
down on
agree that the
people who have
intentional omission
Wait a
of
minute.
significant or pertinent facts is considered untruthfulness?
Sure.
Hi, Joni.
Sorry, 87.
Oh, dig around some more to find some more things that don't matter in the hopes that one of them might lead to a
At
point.
these open gyms, there's lots of people around, right?
Or back to the
Kids are
chaos.
everywhere running around.
If it was a busy day, yes.
And did you participate in any of them?
I did.
How many did you participate in?
Not a lot. It wasn't my thing. Maybe a dozen or less.
Did you work with Mr. Devine?
Probably.
Did you work with his wife?
I don't remember working with her. It wouldn't shock me if I did.
You actually gave presentations at the Explorers program on a regular basis, didn't you, sir?
Every year I would do CPR.
And lots of officers were involved in that program, giving lectures and classes and teaching, correct?
Yes.
Was it kind of run as like a paramilitary organization, you know?
Yes.
What does that mean?
It's got a rank structure. It's the first few weeks are like a boot camp, physical fitness, and then into the classroom.
And that was all at Mr. Devine's orchestration, right?
Right.
Mm. A little mini boot camp he wanted.
I'm sorry, I want to ask you about the interview with Mr. Devine.
He didn't do it. He didn't do that interview.
So I want to go to page 142 of the documents. Now, page 142 of the new document. Now, you said these transcripts are accurate, right, sir?
Yeah, to the best of my knowledge, yes.
To the best of your knowledge, John, right? Before you said they were accurate?
Objection, Your Honor. The form of these questions is sometimes attacking the witness.
Well, before, sir, you said that.
It's objection.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
The last objection, it's fine. Just give him a chance to answer. Right. Remember the question?
Yeah, they're accurate. To the best of my knowledge, they're accurate.
Well, earlier you testified that there might be other transcripts in the world, but yours were accurate, right?
I reviewed them before they became part of the case file.
Okay. So the first question asked. Now, and Mr. Devine was on the second group of people that approved their employment for the police department, right?
I don't remember.
Well, Matthew Farwell, he was a transfer from another department.
He was
What department?
Wellesley.
And William Farwell came from the state police academy, right?
Okay.
He washed out of the State Police Academy.
Well, he got injured in the police academy.
He did.
And then how did he get to the Stowe Police Department?
Regular civil service list, I believe.
Now,
She was the kid that made contact. I think it might have been through Facebook, claiming about inappropriate behavior at the open gym.
and that was 20 years before, right?
Yeah, I mean, it could have been 15, could have been 20. I don't know, as I say it right now.
So it certainly wasn't the time when SB was at the school, right? It
Correct.
was well before the time SB was at the school.
Yes.
And SB was at the school and she graduated from the school in 2016.
That sounds accurate.
Came in because she read something in the newspaper, right?
I think she reached out by Facebook Messenger. I'm not sure right now.
She read something in the Globe, maybe?
But maybe, I mean, she could have been one of the ones that reached out to the state police office.
The inappropriate
And then they
behavior
notified
at the
us.
open gym goes back
I think that
decades.
might have been how it played
Is
out.
really what you want to elicit here?
She may have.
Now, she told you, did she not, that pages 52 to 56. And when Mr. Devine was interviewed, nobody asked him a single question about it.
Okay, so I mean, we
Is that true?
had tried to schedule a second interview, but I don't know the timetables about whether or not there was information we learned after his first interview or not.
And in the middle, Mr. Devine had retired, right?
Right.
And the fact that he retired is something that you held against
You talking about in my summary,
him. Yeah,
draw a negative inference sort of thing?
yeah.
Yeah, I think I probably did that.
But he agreed to answer questions and you sent him 17 questions, right?
I did.
None of those questions involved him.
I don't know what the questions say.
There was no follow-up. He wasn't probed. He wasn't examined. He got to plan it.
Okay, so it says it earlier in the report.
I wonder if at
It
this
says
point
it
he
earlier
was
in the report,
treated
page 5, right?
Page
as
5 of
a
the report,
lay
yes,
witness.
correct.
He doesn't get sworn
Page
in.
15 of the-
That's correct.
We heard before that only the
And
cop
you-
gets sworn in.
got that information. And you pursued that information based upon what you were told about something about being hugged 20 years before. Right?
So I think I got the information through the Mass State Police. She first spoke with them, if I remember correctly, and then they passed the information along to us.
Well, page 56. of the Original documents. Put the flat end of the page. This isn't from the Mass State Police, sir, right? Let's. Sir, the accuracy of your report is important, isn't it?
Sure.
We've already discussed that.
I don't know what you're asking me.
Rephrase the question. I have page 26 of the original item. Now, at the bottom of the page.
The objection, Your Honor.
Yeah, it's the same.
And this isn't, quiz on the dictionary. We all agree that those are two different words with different meanings. I'm not quite sure why this is within his knowledge, but.
Judge, I'll get to it within, as soon as he answers the question, we'll get to it. So is it, find out what his understanding of the difference in the questions.
All right. But if you're telling me you're gonna tie this up,
I am gonna tie it up.
are you able to give you want him to define each of them?
Yes, well, what's the distinction between you won't find it versus you wouldn't find it?
So you won't suggest that it's not there, you're not gonna find it. You wouldn't find it, it's, I don't know, less affirmative, softer word usage. Wasn't prepared for an English quiz, sorry.
Wasn't prepared for the
Right?
future perfect
Right.
versus the subjunctive.
You wrote in your report. We can have a second judge on No.
Nothing further. Praise the
Differently.
Lord. What a pointless cross that was. Oh my goodness.
You testified that the record for this investigation was at a minimum in the tens of thousands of pages, correct?
Yes,
Perhaps even tilted the 100,000 page mark.
yes.
However, your report is only 60 pages. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Approximately.
Yes,
And the purpose of your report is to summarize the relevant, or what you believe to be the relevant information for your findings.
Objection to the leading form of the question. This is what it is.
Yeah, I'm allowing some redirect leading on redirect, so making
So the purpose of your report is to summarize the relevant information and condense it. Is that fair to say?
it is.
Can we pull up in the original exhibits, page 26? Beginning at findings.
Findings. We're not going to get to hear
Can
the
you scroll down
findings.
just a little bit for the first finding? Perfect. So is it fair to say
We don't get to hear any of the IA stuff either. None of the investigative stuff. Like, this is so bizarre what we get to hear and what we don't. It's like, I'm kind of wondering why they even release this.
And is your interpretation of that, of his answer there, is that explaining the text message that's at Exhibit 19?
Objection.
Yes.
We'll need to.
And this is in the original batch of exhibits. Can we go to page 505? Can you read the first blue text message on that page? Do you know if it was a former police explorer?
She was.
Just staying with this one for a minute. Just, who are those? Who's that communication between?
That one is between, I'm sorry, SB and Billy Farwell.
Thank you. So, sorry to interrupt.
Sorry, did you know to be a police explorer?
I did.
Were high schoolers allowed to participate in the police explorers?
Yes.
Were middle schoolers as well?
Yes.
And to your knowledge, were they in the same classroom?
They were.
Nothing further.
With regard to the
Mm.
exhibit that's on the screen right now, which is page 505 of the original document. It says,
Right.
he has two kids.
Who he?
If this is Devine, Robert Devine doesn't have one kid. He has two kids, right?
I mean, I don't know from the context, who they're talking about. He's asking. You know,
Exactly. But you'll agree with me that Robert Devine has two children.
he does.
Is that right?
Objection, Your Honor, to characterize it as a story.
She told something differently.
Well, sorry. It doesn't change the question, so go ahead and answer. If you can.
I can't. I mean, these text messages were all over the place. I don't know when that story started.
Well,
Reference to that.
the date on this one that you just looked at is that we're looking at right here.
That's right.
I'm sorry, Judge, I'm just scrolling here to see. I believe it's the same thing. I ask you to read page 502 through page 505.
Okay.
Regarding your findings, page 26. The findings 1, 2, and 3 are made based upon the facts as they are uncovered in your investigation, correct? Sorry.
He's ready to be out of here.
What page did you say?
26, the first one you're.
Yeah, so the findings are based on the entire investigation, totality of circumstances.
So when you're asked a question, well, it doesn't say the name of this person, that person. That's not exactly true, is it?
Objection.
In that form, sustain.
Well, the totality of the circumstances include the statements made by individuals, correct?
Objection. We're beyond the scope of redirect.
No, given your question about the findings, objections overruled.
So, ask me one more time, please.
Well, the findings are based upon, you said, the totality of the circumstances, right?
Yep.
And the totality of the circumstances means what?
Basically, the whole case, all the evidence, things that we looked at, interviews that we conducted, all that.
And does the evidence include the statements of the persons involved that are spoken to?
Sure, the relevant ones are included in this summary report. So,
Okay. And we discussed those here, right?
right.
And you included those when drafting these findings, you incorporated those into these findings by stating that the totality of the circumstances, because they're all incumbents. Well, that's a bad question.
Yes, it is.
I'd agree.
The totality of the circumstances includes the witness statements. Is that correct?
Sure.
So when you're asked by Mr. Martinez that these findings don't include the statements of this person or that person, that's not necessarily true because they're all incorporated under the totality of circumstance umbrella, which is why you drafted this.
No, I agree with Mr. Martinez's statement that the report is a summary of the investigation. The entire case file contains every single piece of evidence, every transcript, every recording, everything, including the Cellbrite hard drive. So if anybody wants to delve further into any of it, all the evidence is here, as we're seeing with this proceeding.
Well, I just want to know that when you drafted the findings, whether or not it included witness statements. You consider the witness statements.
What are you asking me again?
When you drafted these findings, whether or not you considered the witness statements of the persons that are included in your report.
Sure.
Nothing further.
Before I let you go, the last thing you want to do is hear a question from me as well, but just for clarification purposes. These interviews are recorded interviews, and in each instance, did you intend for them to be transcribed?
I did.
And you knew, in fact, did you, and to some extent, you reviewed these transcripts after they were transcribed?
I did.
To compare them to the audio version?
I mean, the audio and then my recollection of things that were said. So yes. I mean, any typos, any mistakes that are in there, I can take ownership of them. That's correct, Your Honor.
And what was your intention with regard to where those if somebody had access to your report, what was your intention with regard to the availability of those transcripts to which you referred?
I wanted everything that I had shared with all the appropriate agencies. So, the standard process for me for doing an IA, make an audio recording, send it to a transcriber, print the transcriptions, permanently preserve it.
In the usual course, would you intend for them to be actually attached to the IA report?
Yes. I mean, just to further explain a little bit, Judge, the case file for this case was 2 of these. And then one was the all the like the report and all the other stuff. And the second was nothing but transcriptions. So there was transcriptions from the interviews that I had done, and then some exhibits for, like, I think the transcriptions and the state police reports that I considered for the case.
And back on June 6th or 5th, when we had you here last, was your understanding that those 2 binders, if you will, had been provided to the post commission?
Yes. So there was a lot happening in the department when I started sharing those files. I believe the chief might have been away at the National Academy in Quantico. So it was a pretty hectic time. If anything didn't get shared and it's my responsibility, I take ownership of that as well. If I didn't send the transcripts, that's on me. The department had a lot going on at the time. I'm not one to
going on. That's your
someone knows
reason.
it procedural or substantive due process. So my intention to make sure that everything was shared.
When you testified here, did you believe that they had actually been transmitted?
I did, Your Honor.
Further, excuse you.
Your Honor, if I may, if I ask to reopen the testimony, I want to adjourn. I'd like to discuss the journal.
Oh, a completely different topic. You had said it earlier. But
Yes, I said it earlier and I was behind me and I just asked the court's efforts to just.
how much time do you expect to have?
5 minutes.
You object to that?
I don't object because in theory, he could recall him on his case, so.
That's good. I wouldn't even think of that.
So.
Your lawyer's doing a good job. All right. But really, keep it short.
Forgot something. Keep it short. This is what happens when you don't have a point or a plan on your cross. You finish and then you're like, oh shit, meant to ask this thing. Maybe this is the one that will matter.
Could you tell us where you got that document?
Well, this was. I think I got it from a box of property that I received from the state police.
And would that be part of a journal that you were provided by the family?
Yeah, I don't remember seeing a journal. May have.
Page 934. I'm sorry, 475. And that would be part of the documents you received as well, sir?
It appears so, yes.
Should we go to page 28?
28.
Did I read that right, sir?
Did I
page.
read that right?
Sorry, page 28.
More of that. Or just calling things out, not to ask questions about them.
17th. I'm on 28. I don't see that.
You don't know that
28,
you're
I think he said.
28.
gonna have
Is
the
that where
option
you are?
to just
I am, sir.
bring those out in your argument.
It would be the IA report, page 18.
Ah. Okay.
Is this part of the documents you received from Attorney Marulo?
Yes.
So you're aware, sir, that there's an entire journal that was attached to those documents. Are you not?
I don't remember seeing a journal. I could have been there.
Could have been there.
Yes.
You only picked 2 pages out of it, sir?
Yes. It could have been more. There's a lot of papers here.
Objection, Your Honor. He's already testified he doesn't recall a journal.
Are you able to answer that question?
I don't remember seeing a journal. Big box of papers. Of
What it could have been, right?
course.
Big box of papers you received? Is that correct?
Yes.
Where's the big box of papers now?
It was returned.
It was returned.
Let's see.
So you're aware that there was a journal that
Hey.
was provided by Mr. Marulo
Objection asked and answered.
that
Sustaining them.
Watch those claws,
copy
please.
those documents, sir? Did you receive?
Watch those
I
claws.
copied the documents that I have in the case file.
Why did you copy these 2 documents?
They seem relevant.
Why wouldn't you keep the whole journal, sir? All the documents?
Just like I said, I picked ones that seem relevant to this case.
Well, if they excluded one person over another, wouldn't that be relevant to this case, sir?
My job was to investigate policies, procedures, rules, and reg violations, not investigate the death of SP.
Your Honor, I move the journal into evidence.
Well, we'll wait to talk about that until the witnesses. Do you have any follow-up questions on that issue?
No.
All right, I'm gonna excuse the witness. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you. Okay, I guess that.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back in.
Peter. This is some of the most excruciating cross-exam I've had to endure in recent memory. It's just brutal. I mean, I will grant that it's not fair because we don't get to know most of what the substance of it is, which has still now just got me baffled. Like, why did they even release this? I was able to do a little bit of research into kind of what the whole status of this situation is, and apparently what happened is that this hearing examiner, Mr. Fishman, he filed his recommendation with the commission, and at that time they went ahead and did this release. But the commission hasn't acted on the recommendation at this point, and so they're not releasing the rest of this information under the deliberative process exemption, something like that. Not treating it as a public record at this point because the commission hasn't acted on it is generally the impression I got. I don't know why they even bothered. I really don't. It's just so much of this is incomprehensible, but I am certainly taking some lead from this hearing officer who doesn't seem really any better in the loop than I am. And he can hear everything. He's got the binders there in front of him. He can flip through. He knows what they're looking at. He can read along. And even he's like, what's the point here? What's the point? Is there a point? How much longer are you going to be? Are you going to be able to tie this in? This is just a meandering, such a shotgun approach to try to pick apart this and pick apart that and pick apart this other. And it just leads to this impression, this very not credible impression of just looking for anything and everything instead of like having a serious objection that you can focus on. Like, what even is your objection? He's biased. These other people picked on you. They're targeting you. All the women harass you. Sandra's a liar. Like, what is your freaking point, dude? When your point is that like everything is wrong, and by the way, this couldn't have even happened because my kids would be there. It looks like a lot of excuses is what it looks like. Looks like a lot of excuses. Not me, it's that other Rob. Well, it sounds like the dates don't line up very well. So now they've shifted to, oh, well, it was public information when he was in law school. So somebody was pretending to be Marty Riggs while pretending to be Robert Devine. Somebody was pretending to be Robert Devine, pretending to be Marty Riggs. Like, we're supposed to buy that. We're supposed to buy that. I'm honestly lost on this. I really am. So all I know at this point is, at least if what they told us before was correct, this is the last witness for post. So they're going to rest. And now it's going to go on to the defense case. And I sure hope it's better than this. I mean, they've talked about having a couple witnesses besides Mr. Devine. Hey, don't you bite me. All right, time to go down. But I have no idea if that's going to follow through or not. They had the one girl we had to call back, and he's made a comment this time about his other witness, a man, apparently, something about him not coming. But I'm I don't have a positive impression so far. This is the remember, I've brought this up so many times. It was I thought just an excellent piece of writing. It was Scott Adams' article about the cognitive dissonance cluster bomb. It goes way back to the Trump election and how it just like blew people's minds because it was so out of whack with their view of reality. And but take all that as you want, but the whole point of it was how to recognize cognitive dissonance, and one of the ways to do that is when there are a gazillion reasons for something. When something is legit and principled and has integrity, there's usually like one good reason for it, maybe two good reasons for it. And that's what you get to focus on, because that becomes a theme. And you get to show how all of these other things are part of that theme. We don't have that in this case. We don't have organized themes. We have just these like different lines of attack, and it's not even really clear how they fit together, other than just everything is victimizing Robert Devine here. You know, the cops don't like him anymore. They're not his friends. This guy burns a lot of friends, doesn't he? Sure seems to lose a lot of friends. They don't like him because they don't approve of him cheating on his wife. How dare they? So they're not, I guess, reasonable with their investigation. They're biased. He's victimized by Sandra BIRCHMORE. He's victimized by this other woman who, he abused his authority to investigate. He's the victim of whoever is pretending to be him, pretending to be Marty Riggs. Several people weren't told about him, whereas other people were, but some weren't. It's just, where is the theme in all of this? If the theme was this guy's biased against me, you can pull out your facts and you can show all that. But the problem is you don't really have a good argument for it, because it kind of sounds like the evidence speaks for itself. And so if his conclusions from it are unreasonable, that's what the hearing officer is going to second guess. And so far, I haven't heard anything that sounds like really that unreasonable. Doesn't sound like it was that unreasonable to conclude that Devine was Marty Riggs based on the bar date admission that Marty Riggs talks about, because it's not plausible. It's really not plausible. Somebody else was pretending to be him, pretending to be Marty Riggs. Like what even, how even do you come up with that? I just, oh man. But we definitely started getting into the smear, didn't we? Started getting into the smear. Sandra's not honest, therefore she made the entire thing up. I'm kind of skeptical at this point that he is going to consider Sandra BIRCHMORE's text messages, that yeah, she can't be asked about him, she can't be cross-examined about him, she can't provide context, she doesn't have an opportunity to explain inconsistencies. But it's also not clear to me that matters, because of the Marty Riggs stuff. If he buys that Marty Riggs is Robert Devine, is the Marty Riggs stuff alone gonna support the conduct unbecoming? Is it gonna support his dishonesty in the investigation? I don't know. It'd help a lot if I could see what Marty Riggs said. But it's not clear to me at this point that it even matters. But maybe that's the bottom line, is just the extent to which Marty Riggs corroborates what Sandra BIRCHMORE is telling other people. We just we don't get to know that, because we don't get to know anything about the conversation. So yeah, this is kind of irritating, being so out of the loop with what the hearing officer is getting to look at. Well, guys, as you can see, I got some hungry little monsters over here, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to save myself at this point, because I've been getting overrun for like an hour and a half, maybe 2, maybe longer. But yeah, hard to have an impression about how well the post commission is done at this point when I don't get to know what their evidence is. But I can say, you know, I'm not impressed with how the defense has been handling it. If I assume the post commission has a good case, it doesn't seem like the defense has done a lot of damage to it. They haven't done anything particularly effective, and it's just it's not good to annoy your adjudicator like this, waste his time. It's honestly, it's kind of like disrespectful to just you know, be coming in and like digging through things and making this random stuff, and he's trying to do you the favor of cluing you in that he's not interested, and you're not picking that up. So hopefully, I don't know, maybe part 5 will be a little more interesting. I guess we'll see if this is where we start getting to the defense case. What do you have to bring? I sure hope it's better than your cross. So we'll see, guys. I will be back next time. Thank you again for joining me, and I'll see you soon.